Hello, we are here for a little bit of the jury roundtable. Um, so we are going to do this in a couple different parts, just based on scheduling of the jury, and we are recording it so they are able to go back and watch before they make their final decision of who to vote. So typically, how we have done this in the past is that we go through each individual house guest and talk about their game. However, since we're doing this in such a different way this season, I think I will just open it up to the jury and let you guys decide who you want to talk about. If you want to talk about all three of them all together, what you want to do. So I'm going to throw the floor to you guys. Whoever wants to go first can. Um, Also, Nathan does have some um, points that he has thrown out there. So at some point, I will make sure to read those on call. But yeah, you guys may begin.
Well, Michael, as the only two-time mayor of this prestigious jury house, I feel like it is only fitting that I begin this discussion. First of all, you are all absolutely looking amazing. Even I can't see you. I'm currently driving, but we all do. I'm sure you guys look fantastic anyway. Not as good as me. Not as good as me, but standards. Okay, no, for real. If we're going through all three house guests, I'd rather do it individual by individual, and I'm going to start by advocating, and I'm sure that I will be the biggest advocate for this person. But I'm going to advocate for Caleb here. We'll start off with him because I feel like it, and also alphabetical order. To me, Caleb's played an almost flawless game. Strategically, he's gotten people out who are big threats that are threats to his game, but also threats to the entire house. Socially, he's owned up and he's talked to most of us and formed good relationships with us. I know a few of you are a little bit bitter at him and a little bit angry at him, and that's fine. But to me, as long as you do it to a majority of the jury, that I think that's good. To me, at least for my relationship with him, I saw that made really good moves. He won comps. He socialized great, and he was real with me. So I feel like for me, it's all pretty much flawless to me. But the only flaws that I really see with him are the relationships that he made with a few of the other jurors. I know that Nick W, you're not too happy with him. Lauren, I know you're not too happy with him. Anyone else that can speak up, but everything else I can't really see wrong. Like, he's done an amazing job to get here, and to me, I think he's the very definition. We're talking about dead man walking. We're talking about second chances here. He took full advantage of every single part of the second chance. He came the second boot last season, and now he's just absolutely nailed it. Jack, I'd say to you, you're the other person who really defines that second chance, but you're here and he's there. So
Yeah, I can't really change that.
it's
So,
so, but I'm open to hear what anyone else has to say. I think that's just the basis of how I feel about Caleb.
I think it'd probably be best to start with what Nathan said. And I quote as I'm reading this. Caleb kind of snaked his way to the end, just as much as people have this villain image of Megan. At least Megan owned her decisions. She kind of just went with it and didn't make final twos or final threes all over just to nominate and evict them and pretend they don't exist when they're called out. I kind of think that Caleb needs to get called out for that and just get the win. He had a final three alliance with me and Lauren called Ice 3. He then proceeded to evict Lauren and nominate me twice. I called him out and he said the alliance didn't exist. We had a final two deal, so why have deals across all sides of the damn house and then just get to the end and win? And Nathan, if you made a typo in your speech, I'm going to say just as much as I will. But honestly, with Caleb, him and I were always at opposite ends of the house, so obviously I'm not the greatest with him personally, but he's shown he has a very good, at least physical game. We never talked, so we never really had the chance to stab me in the back, but, you know, honestly, I think he's alright. I don't know where everyone else's heads are at, but I was personally pretty isolated from the three that are still in the house beyond Megan, and I'm not gonna bring her up yet. We'll wait for that. But
Let's be honest, we need as many people on for Megan as possible.
yeah.
I mean, I was pretty close with Caleb, so I probably wouldn't be mad at him if he actually told me up front instead of in the back. Then I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be as mad, but he couldn't even like tell me to my face he was evicting me. So
So it's
I feel
not.
like
didn't really
I feel like sometimes that's part of the game though. Like you have to lie sometimes, and I know Lauren that I know you're the kind of person who really takes truth very seriously and is very, golden hearted and all about good values. But in Big Brother, sometimes people have to. Some people want to lie, and if it results in good, then that's fine. And I do think that he owned up to you in his goodbye message as well. Like he cried, like he genuinely cared for you, 100%. But sometimes you just have to make the tough decisions. Like I
like if I
genuinely
wasn't
think
close to
if
him,
I genuinely think if anyone went against Lauren in the final three, it would be a very tough call because I think Lauren would be like, I love you, but like everyone loves you here. And I think besides Drew, you've played the best social game. So I don't really blame Caleb for that decision. However, I do see why you're mad at him for not owning up, and that's
I mean,
completely fine.
I'm not mad that he voted me out. I'm mad that he just didn't tell me the truth.
And
Yeah,
really,
that's fair. That's fair.
realistically, I was able to tell the people that I was voting out, even if it was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, but I'm voting you out." It's
Caleb did.
it's
Caleb did
not
that too. He did that to me.
it's not something easy, but at the same time, it's something. It's physically simple. So if you can't do that, uh,
Well,
that's something to mark against.
Jack, I told you that I was voting you out in the final night, and that got me evicted the next week. So sometimes it doesn't work out.
That too.
And they
It all really depends on timing. I feel as though if maybe Caleb made you guys angry, but obviously if he has a reason for not telling you that stuff, then this
I
is his
mean,
chance to
what
own up
else
to it.
was I going to do though? Like, what else could I have done? Like, I really couldn't have
That's
really
fair.
done anything. So I don't see the point in why he had to lie.
That's fair. That's fair. Who else is here? Is there only us three? Really?
Yes,
Bruh.
Well, plus,
but I don't care how Megan plays
Nathan.
because she is not getting my vote, no matter who she is against.
All right, so we going to Megan now.
Yes, I am not voting for her, no matter who.
Really quick, I wanna say something that Nathan said as well. He
Go.
said, "Has he actually had that good jury management skills? Can someone call him out in the questions for me if he makes final two? Were you ever considering staying loyal to the Ice3 Alliance, or were you always planning to just use us for votes and dispose of us later?" So if anybody wants to comment on that before we move on, you may, or if you don't want to, that's fine as well.
I mean, to me, like jury management is how you handle each individual person. I can't really speak for anyone else, but for me, he doesn't manage. Like, he hasn't really made me mad on the way he's played his game. But I know that he's made other little few others like pretty angry. Obviously, like not angry, but like disappointed would be the right word, I'd say.
Right.
It'll be his job to own up and try and fix that in his final speech if he makes it.
But I feel like Megan won't take him if she wins. Like, I really don't feel like she would.
it,
But oh no,
so
I think Megan. I think both of them. I think Drew's made the final two either way.
I don't think either one of them are taking each other. Like,
just
What happens if they
for
do? What happens
Say
if they
again.
do take each other? What happens if they do take each other?
I don't. I think it's going to be very. The jury's going to be very, very, very excited and happy, and won't shred them at all, Michael. Note the
so
sarcasm. Note the sarcasm. They're fucked.
So I just want to date this for the viewers listening. We have already seen the the first two parts of the final head of household, and if I remember correctly, it is Megan and Caleb in order from part 1 and part 2, meaning Drew, no matter what, will be a nominee at the end.
Yeah.
So at the same time, I'm not sure how I really feel now, because at the same time that, like, hey, Drew was an easy vote, I'm not sure Drew is going to end up making it.
Here's the
Like,
thing, though. If they're taking Dre, let's talk about Dre, because I feel like he's an appropriate person to go to next.
Megan?
Let's talk about Dre. We're talking about Dre. As the 2-time mayor of this place, I officially declared that we're talking about Dre next.
Christ.
Okay, well,
We jump on.
Well,
Nathan has...
actually, before we swap over to Drew, one last time, because I'm not sure if we have talked about it, and shut me up if I'm wrong, but have we talked about him being returnee and what this actually means? Like, does he deserve this win over 2 newbies? Does
I
that
actually had,
matter
I
at
actually
all?
thought it, and actually, good point, Jack. I actually thought about it, and I came up with something pretty interesting. So, at our season 1 returnees, you, me, Nikki, we sort of had a good relationship. We've played games before and after 1984. Same with season 3. Napolito, Julian, and Lauren. I know Julian and Lauren, you guys have played before. I'm not too sure about Napolito. I haven't seen him play
I mean,
play as
this
much
is the
besides
only game I've ever
1984.
played with him, but like,
Yeah.
I was closer
So-
with him this time around than I was the first.
It's
So
interesting.
listen the fuck up. Season 2. Okay, I ain't getting no. I ain't getting interrupted. Okay, I'ma finish. Caleb came in with 2 other returnees from season 2, Kendall and Heather, 2 of the most dramatic, not the best game players, but definitely one of the bigger characters of 1984's history. So I
And
feel like Caleb, out of any other returnee, had the least bond out of at least with all the other returnees. Like, Caleb had a disadvantage more so than the rest of us. So I feel as though coming into this game, he wasn't able to work those pre-game relationships as well as, say, I was, or say Nikki was, or say Jack was, or Lauren or Julian, yada yada yada.
And realistically, I didn't have any pre-game relations because Nick didn't really talk to me during this game until it really became necessary. And Billy, you wanted to stab me in the back near immediately. But
I still think you're a dope guy. Caleb had no people he thought were dope.
and yeah, you have a good point. Kendall and Heather, because of their reputations, went out 17 and 5th. Basically, before anyone else, he was basically coming in as a newbie with no relationships with his previous cast, because the people that were there weren't really there for him. They were there just to cause hell. So, Nathan, really quick, just wants to mention that Caleb was vetoed by Megan twice. Would he still be there if she hadn't done that?
Probably not.
No, I don't think so. But at the same time, don't you guys think it's impressive that Megan's closest ally, JJ, was voted out specifically because of Caleb, and Caleb was able to still connect with Megan after that?
Well, Megan didn't really care, I feel like.
Yeah.
They were literally like the closest allies out of anyone in the game. What are you guys talking about?
I don't know. Like I said,
So,
they threw you and her under the bus, so he did not make it out to seem like they were as close. He made it seem like you and her are close.
But still, at the same time, Caleb very much showed that he was against sort of JJ's side, so against me, Megan, Lamar at that time, stuff like that, and Nick W as well. Like, it's still nonetheless impressive.
So, really quick, are we being bitter by saying that, Megan shouldn't deserve the win over Caleb. Like, in my opinion, I haven't been burned by Megan, and I also haven't been burned by Caleb. But at the same time, I just don't.
Jack, she literally laughed at your expense when you were making your replacement nominee final 8, I think.
I know,
Like
but
she
it's
was
just
laughing,
like
making faces, shit like that.
it's just like the amount of disrespect towards other people. Like, I can say she played a great she graded blah she played a great strategic and physical game, but at the end of the day,
I completely agree.
this is a social game.
But his
And
social abilities were not there. Like,
so Nathan is also bringing up the point that she made people mad by getting pretty much everyone out and having a hand in every single eviction. And I don't think that's the issue.
Let's be real. Heatherly Cameron did more than Nathan, so I ain't gonna take any opinions from him too heavily.
But the reason I think we're really talking about this is it wasn't getting voted out or being evicted. Like, we respect game. It's exactly what Julian's actually saying, that it was her reactions, faces, like stuff she can't control, where it seemed like she was completely disregarding us. And that didn't feel right.
it just felt like she like owned the game or something.
And that she
That's
was
And that
better
it was
than
all
us.
about her, so
that's the difference between Caleb and Megan, because I feel like they had similar moves, but at least Caleb like didn't make us feel like we were complete trash.
I mean, she like I don't know, she would barely even talk to me in the game. Like I tried, but she would barely even talk to me. So
Nathan, I think there's a difference between coming across as a bitch with the resting bitch face and rolling your eyes and basically disrespecting people who go out of the game.
she did to almost every single one of us. So
I think someone definitely needs to ask it. So we're just talking about Megan, so I guess we're just ignoring the fact that I wanted to go to Dre. Fair enough.
I think it just naturally came up.
Yeah, it really did. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. And there's a lot I want to say about Megan, because I think it's fair to say that maybe besides JJ, I was the closest person to her out of anyone coming into this season.
Yeah.
And she betrayed me because I was planting seeds to other people that she was a big threat and that she needed to be taken out, because I knew by then that she was the biggest strategic threat out of anyone. I didn't feel as though Caleb was, but I also thought that like he was a really good game player as well. But I also knew that I thought that Megan was the bigger player then, and my thoughts of opinions obviously changed now. And I feel as though for Megan to do that, like, it's okay. That's game. I respect it. But the way that she did it was, to me, was completely disrespectful. And that week when she was like feeling down in the dumps about herself and about her life, I tried to cheer her up. I said to everyone who thinks Megan's beautiful, everyone raised their hand. And I was like, Megan, we all have your back. So to me, I wanted at least some decency from her and her to own up and say, hey, I know you've been doing this. You're going to go up. And I would have been Devo, and I was Devo, but I would have been I would have at least felt like we were being real with each other, more so on an equal level. But the way she did it, she put me up. We had a huge fight. She traced my character to Lauren, to Lamar, to Nick W. Not more so my character. She did a little bit of that, but more so my gameplay. And she just did a lot of trash talking about me. And I feel as though for a few other people, she did trash talking about them. And that to me, I guess game level is fine, but when it goes too far, you need to stop. And to me, there's a line, and she crossed it multiple times. Hello?
yeah, I mean, especially because you actually like had a real like friendship with her. Like I don't know, I couldn't do that to like a friend. and like trash them. Like there's difference between nomming them in a game and actually going to people and talking bad about them. But
Does
that's
anyone want to? If anyone does want to reply, because I feel as though there's a little bit of hypocrisy coming from me, because I know that I've definitely like trashed, like say in the week that Chandler went out, like I said that he was a cheater and toxic, but that was justified. And I feel as though Megan's saying stuff about me and anyone else is willing, if they want to, please speak out and
But
say
I
any
mean,
like experiences about that shit. But
were you friends with Chandler anyway?
not
Like
at, not at all, not at
she
all,
she
not
was
at
your
all.
friend. Like friends don't do that even like in a game. Like if you don't like work together, fine. But like I don't know, doesn't mean you have to trash your friend.
I feel exactly. I feel like Jack. That's why I respected you so much more so, because I know we were like against each other at the time, but at least we had that mutual respect and like we at least had like that friendship, but like we wouldn't cross lines, you know.
Right. And I don't believe in that.
Like even Caleb, like we fucking
Like I do
love each
love
other now.
Caleb. Like not gonna lie, like I love him as a person. But like I don't know, he never trashed me, so like I can forgive him for what he did. But if I was you, I wouldn't be able to ever like forgive
Yeah.
him again. But that's just me.
Jack, where you at? You got anything to say? Is Jack here, bruh?
I think
I
I
don't know.
heard
He went
somebody call
on
him.
mute.
He's got his mic muted. Okay, hold on. So Nathan's saying some stuff. I know what you mean. She actually handled what I did badly. I was joking a lot when I said Megan should get fourth and traded Megan in the last few things. She then took it really badly and ignored me. That's kind of hypocritical on her side. When she'd be rude to a whole cast on a serious level. I don't know if you get what I mean, but when I shaded her, she handled it badly, like she didn't deserve it. I was doing what she needed to be done like 4 weeks ago. Nathan, I completely agree with everything that you just said. I think you just actually hit the nail on the dot, brother. I feel as though like it's just a bit of a childish thing to do. Like she's taken criticism and she's reacted badly. I've seen it in Whodunit. I saw it in this game, but when she gives it out, she just doesn't give a fuck. Like she's almost like I don't want to say Paul. I'd say she's more like a Netta from Big Brother Canada 5. If anyone. Yeah.
What's a nip? I don't know what that is.
I think for the betterment of the group, you're probably going to have to describe it.
So basically, Netta was like really is like this really controlling strategic queen who was really good at strategy. However, she thought she was better than everyone else, and she would say like really petty things and like insult people, but wouldn't be able to take it back. Shit like that. If that makes that's like the basics.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
she did feel like she was like better than everyone else in this game. Like
Yeah.
I got that vibe from her, and like I don't know.
I mean, like it's okay to have an ego, but like own up to it. Like for me, like I'm a cocky douchebag, and I own up to it. Everyone knows it.
Yeah,
Like,
but she really doesn't.
she doesn't exactly. I'm hoping she does. However, I think with that being said, I think the final, if she makes the final two, it is an extremely good opportunity for her to answer any questions that we may have and maybe own up to the stuff that she did without us telling her, you know? Because I feel like Jack, you said that she knows she doesn't have the best jury management, so maybe she'll talk about that and try and own up to it, you know?
Yeah. If she doesn't ask about her social game, then we're going to grill her on that and be like, we all felt pretty hard. Like,
So I'm
we
just
were
gonna
pissed.
read some stuff that from the chat. Nathan says, I was less personal. I said she's a comp base and needs to go and get Megan out, etc., rather than personal insults. Julian says, that's the point. She dished it all season, but couldn't take it one time. Nathan, and then she took that super personal. She ignored me right to the end. I sent her a 2-minute voicemail apologizing as I felt so bad, and she ignored me. Zero management, score 0. Julian, her gameplay, objectively was not bad. She played a strong game. Nathan, I'm so glad I didn't make final three as I'd hate being judged. Julian says, but she left a lot of people feeling burned as hell. You'd have to wonder the perspective about Megan. You'd have to wonder the perspective of Caleb and Drew, because ever since final 11, they were working as a final three.
Right.
So you'd have to wonder how they feel, and I definitely want to see the perspective of them.
See, here's the thing that I find interesting, and I'm not sure if you've known this, but Megan has known for a while that she doesn't have a lot of jury votes. And I assume she also knows why.
Yep.
Then why didn't she, like, I don't know,
Change her
things
actions?
around? Yeah, like,
Because
change her
maybe she didn't
attitude.
feel like she had to. And
Well,
that's
she
more
wanted to win the
interesting.
game.
What my guess is that she's going to rely more so on a physical and strategic game. However, she can't, if Caleb makes final two with her, she can't argue that, because at that point, Caleb would have won more comps than her.
And he was more respectable to people than Megan is. He didn't make people feel the way she did, so...
Guys, I do have to go. I've got personal training, but I'm hoping to join this a bit later and see what's up. Good luck to everything else, and I hope to continue this discussion later. Drew, I do have a bit to say about you, baby. Don't worry, girl.
So I guess as the highest person under his command, I shall take over his mayoral roles. Lauren, Nathan has a question for you. Can I ask you, did Caleb ever make you feel like the final three we had was real? This was way closer before I even got close to Jack, but I felt like it was real at that point.
Yes, he did. And he also, me and him had a final two from day one. And then, I don't know. And then when JJ left, like, I don't know, things changed when he got closer to Megan. And so then I got closer to Nick, and me and him became, like, closer than I was with Caleb.
That is also interesting. Caleb, Nate is now mentioning he also had a final two. So was he just merging his final twos into one thing? And to be honest, Nathan and I had a final two, Nick and I had a final two, and Julian and I had a final two. That's because every single person asked me, and I was like, what do I do in this situation? I tried to tell him it was a possibility, and that's what I tried to do. Because
Lamar wanted me in the final two, and I'm just like, I love him and all. But I was like, I don't know, because I was so much closer to Caleb and Nick. So I was like, in like a pickle.
yeah.
But I couldn't tell him, nobody knew that me and Nick were like I told Nick everything. I told him and Caleb every single thing. But
It's
I don't know. I have perfectly good reasons to be mad at Caleb.
yeah, it's just
I'm not mad at Julian for lying to me. I had no reason to be mad at him. So it is what it is, honestly.
So, I have not heard much talk about Drew, so would you guys like to...
I mean, let's be real. I love Drew and all, but I don't know.
So, here's the thing.
Oh, no.
Drew, Nathan wanted to specifically mention part 2 of the HOH. Realistically, Drew threw... Drew completely threw part 1. It wasn't even like, haha, that's so cute, that's a joke. It was 22 minutes, and he went an hour over.
Even when they were like, Drew, for real, it's done. It's been an hour. He, still wouldn't take off his damn hood.
like, that was just kind of annoying to me, at least from my perspective. It just like, hey, I don't, I don't want to, like, I know it was funny and all, but, like, see, Nathan just mentioned he was pulling a Nathan. A Nathan doesn't require effort. That just naturally happens.
Honestly, like you have to know that's way past 22 minutes. 22 minutes is not that long. So if you can't tell the difference from an hour and 22 minutes, like even like 30, like then I don't know what to tell you, honestly.
No, there's no way he wasn't like just drawing it out for no reason.
And like that comp that he let Megan win that POV so that she could take off Caleb when you were HOH. I knew that he threw comps like.
Yeah, no, that's strategy, and I respect that because I was like, once I saw that it was Megan and Drew, even before that, I was like, I know exactly what's about to happen, and it's like there's nothing you can do against it, but it's incredibly impressive. And the issue now is like, see,
I
the
mean,
thing
he didn't need to win comps.
yeah, but at the same time, I can't state many moves Drew made.
He did whatever other people were doing.
Mm-hmm. So, like, how much respect does he deserve for that?
I mean, I mean, I know
So,
what you're saying. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, he didn't really do much.
so,
He kind of hid, like he always like hid. Like sometimes it would be like he wasn't even in the game.
he always hid behind either Caleb or Megan, depending on the round. And honestly, the only thing I can think of him doing is winning the first HOH.
But that was
And
before they were probably even close.
yeah,
So
no, like just in general, the only thing I can think about him doing is winning the first HOH and him throwing a POV. But one of those, it's super early, so it's just a wild card. And the other one, it's contributing to someone else's game. So, uh, Nathan has a couple quick points. Drew has been kind, lovely to most people, never in drama, played a good social game. He has thrown comms when he has needed to, strategy-wise, and won them when he needed to. He's also hilarious when he needs to be and fun to watch, but I still don't think he's done more than Megan or Caleb comp-wise. Like, what moves has he done without being under those two? He's gone wherever the power has been the whole time. When he won the first HOH, he sheeped and nominated whoever everyone else wanted him to, which were Heather and Chandler. But I don't think we can really hold that against him because, except for maybe Heather and Chandler, I think a majority of people would have done that just because it was easy to do week one.
and they didn't want any blood on their hands anyway.
Yeah. And it's not like super interesting to talk about, but yeah, so since we are still recording and now that's been brought up, Chandler, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Anyway, so like the thing is, Drew always seemed to work with the majority and just kind of do what the house wanted. So at that point, the house became Megan and Caleb, which means what did he do? Like, what can we state that he did alone?
I mean, to be honest, I feel like he was keeping Caleb since the beginning anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like he did whatever Caleb wanted him to do. Which is why Caleb dropped me off because I was not always voting with him. Because I made my own damn decisions, and I'm not gonna have someone tell me to vote out someone when I know in my heart that it's not right.
Yeah, and Nathan mentioned that he was able to fly under the radar, and he knew people would target Megan and Caleb over himself. And here's the thing. What he played was a floater game, and specifically I wanted to define floater as someone who floats between power and has a strong social game where they don't get caught out for playing the middle. A coaster is someone who's irrelevant. Uh, and, like, that's the negative connotation. But at the same time, like, he played a game, I guess, probably. Is that really a good comparison?
Like, I don't even know if he had, like, a good social game. Did he, like, talk to many people?
He talked to me very lightly, if anything. So,
Well, I mean, Drew wasn't a threat because he wasn't trying to win competition.
he managed to stay around even though he was, being shot at. So, it's just, it's gonna be hard to decide, I guess. Like, let me look at. So, the thing is, so Andy's game mainly revolved around him being, like, very funny, very talkative, and not winning many competitions, but at the same time, it was able to be respected.
Right.
So, he was still nominated and managed to stay, but then again, Caleb and Megan were the ones who made that decision, possibly.
Well, I mean, when you have two people of the votes to save you, I mean, it's kind of obvious that, like, at that play in the game, you're probably going to stay.
Yeah, so, just to summarize what we've talked about tonight, Drew doesn't really have much of a game, and he'll really need to convince us that he wasn't just in the shadow of the other two.
Right.
Megan, she had a really strong physical and strategic game, but her social game made everyone really upset for basically just not feeling personal at all. And
Right.
Caleb probably has the best all around, but once again, he lied to various people. So now it depends how much do we factor each thing in.
So, do you guys think that if Drew makes it, if one of them takes Drew, that the other one, like whoever takes him, should win?
What was that?
If Caleb or Megan take Drew to the end, should Caleb or Megan, whoever it is, win the game against Drew?
It really depends in my mind of what Drew says. If he's against Caleb, I feel like Caleb should win.
This is the thing, and Nathan specifically mentioned this. Do you need to be personal to win Big Brother? You're trying to win at the end of the day, not make friends. Do you need to be 100% personal and be honest? Or how much can you lie to someone, and what can you lie about where it feels okay? Like, when I went out, I didn't really have any, I didn't really have any bad things against any of them. I knew Megan wasn't that well liked, but all of them kind of just worked good. But now that I'm like talking to everyone here, my eyes have kind of opened to, oh my god, these people were really, really going against me.
Well, I knew
So-
Caleb really wanted you out from like a long time. Because he would always tell me how we gotta get Jack out, we gotta get Jack out.
Yeah.
So he wanted you out since like a long time.
No, like, literally, I was nominated 7 times out of, what, the 13? No, I was nominated, let's see. Week 1, I could have been nominated. Week 2, I was. I'm gonna have to pull out my notes, but... Yeah, no, I was nominated more times than I could have been nominated. Like, uh, like, more than half or 2/3 of the times that I could, I was. So it just kind of like, I was always the house target. Out of the 3 of them, I believe it was Caleb, yeah. But only by a little bit. I think they all have been low on nominations. So in terms of HOHs and POVs, I believe Megan has won 2 and 3 POVs. I might be wrong.
Caleb won like what, 3 HOHs?
3 HOHs. Has he won? I think he's won 1 POV, and then Drew, I think, has only won 1 or 2 HOHs. Oh yeah, and then Nathan won 7 HOHs. I forgot that. He won every round he could.
So, what happens now if Megan and Caleb are the final 2?
I will vote for
Yep.
Caleb. I feel like he has more of a better game, respectfully.
Megan will need to pull hard in order to get a majority vote for her to win. Because I feel like against Caleb, it's like there's they both played, I guess, similar games, but one of them wasn't an asshole to people.
And that's gonna be the difference between her and him. Yeah, but she wasn't nice either, Nathan.
Nathan says, why are people so bitter though? I always hate that in Big Brother she wasn't fake, Caleb was.
But she wasn't nice. Caleb was nice, even though he was kind of fake. But I don't know, she was actually kind of fake to me when she was HOH one time. She acted like she wasn't on when she really was. So,
Now, is the person that you like necessarily always going to be the person that played the worst game?
no. Like, I like Caleb and I don't like Megan, but Megan did not play a better game. And I can say that even though, like, it kills me to right now, but she did play the better game.
I think, I like Caleb and I don't like Megan. I'm just trying to vote for the person who played the better game. I had a lot of conversation with Megan at the start of this game about her jobs and her degrees, which is really nice, but then she suddenly stopped when she got in alliances and with people and started winning stuff. And once she found her footing, she said, that's all I need to do. So I'm just like, Megan is a bitch who disagrees.
I love that you read that message. I mean, I'm just saying, you don't have to be a bitch to people in game to, like, get what you want, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, Caleb was not a bitch to me, regardless of him like backstabbing people and whatnot. To be honest.
It's just like, I think everyone is, and normally it isn't as important, but I feel like this time around, if anyone brings Drew to the end of the game, if Megan, okay, so realistically, if Caleb gets to the end of this game, he's most likely going to win, unless there are some serious like changes in the questioning. But if it's Megan and Drew, I feel like for once, because it really never does matter, I feel like it's going to be the questions that they ask and how real they are and what they own up to that's going to determine whether or not they win. Like, I feel like that's the most up in the air because in in one sense, um, Megan has played the best physical and strategic game, but at the same time, Drew has the best social game with the members of the jury, and we feel the least burned by him. So it's really going to be Megan convincing us that what she gave. Don't call me Dr. Will, please. I don't deserve it.
That's my job.
I'm not even going to be a doctor. I'm not even going to get a doctorate. Um, but it's going to be Megan saying, "Hey, I'm not an asshole," or Drew saying, "Hey, I made moves," and whichever one makes the better pitch wins. And yes, it is going to be my birthday, which means I will not be legal by the time this game ends.
Oh, happy birthday.
In a week.
Well, we ain't gonna be in this game in a week. Like I
We're gonna
wanted to. I wanted to do this next weekend.
We're gonna have a reunion next week.
Can we, like, I'm gonna be missing this finale, like, so unfair. Can you just move it to next week? Like, I literally will do anything. Like, I'll gift you right now. Like, please. Like,
Dead ass.
I'll literally do anything if you move it to next Saturday.
Can we have a game with the final 8 and then 10 new people? Oh, that burns a little bit for Billy and Nick and Lamar, but alright. So I think realistically we've reached the end of the discussion unless anyone else has like a serious opinion.
It sounds to me like you guys have talked about their full games as much as you can. I encourage you all to come back when we get on call again later or tomorrow. If not, that's perfectly fine. You guys are allowed to send in votes now for each different combination of a final two if you don't believe you're going to make it to the finale. Also, those of you who are watching this later and to the jury now, think about when you're voting who you want to represent this season of 1984. This is something that I always say. You are voting for the person that represents your season. Think about what you want representing your season and who does that the best. So I think that is it for right now.
Do I want any of these people representing the season?
We probably will do another part of this. But for now, I think we are done. Hello and welcome to part 2 of the round table for 1984 Dead Men Walking. So, as everybody knows, we did a little bit of roundtable last night, but we are also here to do a little more today so that more people can get involved and make a good decision for who they want to represent this season. Um, so, last night I kind of just let you guys take the run of it, however you wanted to work this. Typically, we go through each house guest individually and talk about their game. But if you guys have a different way you would like to go about this, this is your roundtable. I want you guys to do what you have to do to make your most informed decision. So I would like to start and do so.
I'm fine with going down them individually. Let's start with Drew.
Drew's. I feel like Drew's kind of middle of the road for me.
That's my okay. So my issue is I don't like voting on a bias if I'm in jury. But like with Drew, it's a good bias. Like I want him to win because I worked with him so closely in the game, in my game at least.
Okay, hold up. Is there anyone that didn't have any sort of deal with any of the final three? Because like they had side deals with every single one of us. I guarantee it.
Oh, no doubt in my mind.
Because like every single one of us can sit here and say, "Oh, I worked closely with X person," but they had alliances with all of us, and that's how they made it there.
But you know, like some alliances are
But
stronger.
the thing about that was the thing about that was with Drew, mine like with others, because I made deals with other people. Those deals didn't feel as genuine. With Drew, I talked to Drew every single day. Like
Right.
I was on calls with him every day. We talked to each other every single day. Like it wasn't like we just message each other once a day. Like we called every day. And so that's where it's like I'm struggling to be like, because I honestly, I feel like Drew would have been loyal to me if I would have stayed. Drew voted to keep me.
I have known Drew for a few years now. I mean, I would love to vote for him, but I'm not entirely sure how well his game stacks up to the other two. I mean, he'll probably get my vote over
If
Megan.
we talking about Drew's game, I can definitely say that Drew played more of a social game more than anything. Some people was physical or not, but Drew was definitely a social player.
Yeah, I can see that.
No, I feel like nowhere in this whole game would anybody really consider Drew. He was like a threat, but not like a super like we need to get him out now threat
Not even,
because he was so
not a
social.
threat. Not even a threat, but I can say like one thing about Drew is that I can't say about the other two is that he was never nasty at any point.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely would. And I like the reason why I want to vote for him because he was honest about everything.
Yeah.
He didn't lie or whatnot. He told you how it was, and I respect that.
And that's where I'm struggling because it's like, do I think other people play better games? Certain people play better games than, or a certain person played a better game than Drew. Yes. However, I already told myself going into this final three, if Drew's in the final two, that's my vote.
Oh, me too.
I'm
And
just
then
having this like,
also with Drew, I feel like it goes to show he did play a good game because he only won like what one each week, like one POV,
exactly.
and he like was basically like never voted. Really never seen as a threat. Like not even seen as a threat, but nobody was like I need to get Drew out. I feel like that's playing a good game.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll give him bonus points for taking out that piece of trash, Chandler.
Oopsie.
All right, let's go to Megan. That bitch not getting my
Can we
vote.
go to Caleb first?
Sure, I don't care.
Because I'm saving that for last.
Well, Caleb, I feel like in my voting is either Caleb or Drew. I feel like I feel like Caleb played the best game out of all three, though. If we're gonna be honest, Caleb. I feel like Caleb, even though he backstabbed people with da, he didn't do it in any malicious ways. He was never nasty about it, and I feel like everything was basically strategic. Nothing was like, I just don't like you, so I'm just gonna get you out. Everything was like a plan.
Caleb had a really good way of making it feel impersonal. Like he
I don't
was
know.
nominating.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Like he was nominating you not because it was personal, but because like it actually was best for his game. Whereas other people, like when they nominated you, it was like, oh, you just don't like me. Or not that it's not that it is personal, but you make it personal by doing certain things or like saying certain things, having certain actions when people are talking. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like he played a good social game, strategic game, and he won comps. I think he did the best of all three. Like he balanced all three perfectly.
I can agree with that for sure. I also feel like he was never in a position to where like he was gone.
Right.
Like there was never a time where I looked and went, if Caleb doesn't win this comp, he's out of this comp. Like he's out of the game.
And I also feel like as much comp as he won and much backstabbing that he did do, people was like, "Oh, he's a threat," but
He was never a bigger threat than Megan, and that was the thing.
He
what
was
about you,
great. Hit it
Julian?
well behind Megan.
He hid behind Megan without hiding behind her.
Right. I mean, like he wasn't not playing the game. He wasn't floating. He was still doing shit. But he also had a good meat shield in front of him.
Exactly.
And that's smart, to be honest. You got somebody that's a bigger threat. He's always going to be a bigger threat than you. What about you, Julian? How you feel?
I'm leaning towards Caleb. Honestly, I feel like Caleb played like I mean, you guys basically already said everything that I was gonna say. Like Caleb played a pretty hard game, but nothing was personal with him. Like except for his random targeting of. I mean, I don't know. He randomly had beef with Jack, which he would talk about a lot.
I feel like he just saw Jack as a threat and knew that he wasn't going to get Jack's vote, so he just said whatever he wanted to. Or assumed that he wasn't going to get Jack's vote, so said what he wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. But Caleb, I feel, definitely played the strongest game out of not just the three, but most of the people in this house.
I agree.
So, Julian. Oh, wait, I'll talk to you about that in a minute.
Oh, no.
So, are we talking about Megan?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
That bitch not getting my vote, period. But I feel like it's like the exact opposite of what we said about Caleb. Like how it was like never personal, da da da. I feel like her shit was like personal, always personal. I feel like she went out her way to be malicious to certain people. I felt like some of the shit that's going on that she did was not necessary.
Like, a prime example of that would be like when it was the triple eviction, like the night me and Lamar got eliminated. I asked her, I was like, hey, I know I probably don't, but it'd be awesome if you save me. And like she sent me this long ass message that was like really malicious and really nasty for no reason. And I was like, I was just asking for a vote, girl. Calm down.
Yeah.
And it's like it'd be a completely different story if like I could literally go. It'd be a completely different story if I was like, you need to vote for me to save your game and like telling her how to play the game and anything, but it literally wasn't that. I was like, hey, could you please save me? And she sent me a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lined response, basically saying that like I'm trash. And I was like, all right, go off.
Go off, keyboard gangster.
It felt very like it felt like she was playing to get to final 2 versus playing to win. If that makes sense. Like she didn't care what she said or what she did, as long as it got her to the final 2. And I feel like that's a really shitty way to play the game.
And I felt, I mean, granted, she did He did win comps. And if I could personally go back, I would never let that motherfucker win that endurance
But
comp. But
the thing about that is she won comps because she had to win comps. If she didn't win certain comps, she would have gone home certain weeks. Caleb won comps because he wanted to.
like he never was in danger to go.
If Jack won a comp or won an HOH, he would have put Caleb up, but he would have put Caleb up against somebody that would have went home over Caleb. Like, Caleb was never in a position to go home. And that's where it's like, his game is just so much better in my eyes. Like, even like taking away the personal shit from Megan, like Megan was never in a good position in the game after she put up Billy. She put herself in a shit like that. Like, she put up Billy and could have just been like, this is strictly game, but started being personal against Billy. And then started being personal with me, and then started being personal with everybody else, with Lauren, with Jack, with everybody that she quote sent here. And it's like, that's fun and dandy and all, but that's not how you win a game.
What you think, Julian?
I mean, I went back and I watched everything that went down, and don't think I didn't notice the way that she was just acting towards people during the ceremonies and shit. I mean, even when she wasn't speaking up and being nasty verbally, you could see it in her face. Like, she was ready to throw some people. Like, she burned a lot of people on her way here. I mean, her game wasn't even that bad. Like, she won comps when she needed to. She made moves when she needed to, but she was just so fucking awful to people as they were walking out the door.
Okay, it's like on my triple, like when I got evicted, and I was like, well, Caleb had said, well, I heard that somebody that you were talking to me, and I was like, well, whoever said that is lying, and then she went about it, well, nobody's lying, Lamar. Like, shut the fuck up. This don't even involve you. Like, why you like, what's your point? It's like, bitch, I know you was the one who said it. I don't know. I just felt like her game was sloppy, if I could say that. It was just a sloppy game. Whereas though she needed to win in order to save herself. Whereas though Caleb and Drew, they didn't have to win.
Caleb and Drew put themselves in a
didn't
position.
win, and Caleb won because he wanted to, because they put themselves in positions whereas though even if they lost, nobody's going to put them up. She had to win because she went up. She was going to go home.
A part of me wants, like, do we get to ask a question to each of them? Or do we just get one question?
You will get one question, but it can be, you can pose it to both of the final two, but it's just one question.
All right, so we can ask both the same question.
Yes, you can ask them both the same question, but I'm not able to let you guys ask a different question to each of them.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so I don't want to like.
I already know what I'm asking.
I feel like everybody's question is going to be at Megan, and I don't want to waste my question asking Megan a question that's already been asked.
Oh, mine's going to both.
It's frustrating.
I do this. I do the same question for every finals, and it's wrecked people's games before.
I mean, honestly, like, I'm just like, I know my vote's coming between two people, and it's basically how well they do their speeches there, and for who I'm voting for. To be honest. And like, I know like Megan can have an amazing speech, but I felt like the personal moves and the malicious behavior is just something that the phoniness I don't like, and I just something I don't respect.
T.
I don't know. I know it's Big Brother. Everybody lies. We all told lies in the game, but none of us was ever malicious towards each other. There was arguments, but at the end of the day, we always like it's nothing personal. We're not going to make it personal. And I felt like she went out her way to try to make it personal with a lot of people. Like, bitch, it's a game. All you get is bragging rights. Calm down. I don't know. let's hope Drew gets the final 2. Let's get my vote. Oh wait, can I say that? Am I allowed to? No, let me shut up.
Me at that. Oh, to avoid legal snags, guys, you're being recorded. That's what it told me to say.
It actually
So-
Nick is recording the call though, but
But it said to avoid. But you could argue that in court, so I'm just letting you guys know.
So, oh my god.
So
You could
anything
say, I didn't see it.
add? Or any other things we need to talk about?
I feel like I'm gonna be repeating myself. So I think Caleb definitely played the best game. To break it down, my thoughts: Caleb played the best game. However, if Drew's in the final 2, I'm voting for Drew.
See.
Pending.
I mean, I feel like Drew played the best socially, and Caleb played the best strategically, and Megan's just there.
Which is funny because, like, you could argue that Megan ran this game. Like, from the audience's perspective, it probably looks like Megan ran this game. But, like, being in the game with Megan, it's like her game is so messy and sloppy for no reason.
To be honest, I feel like Megan had. I want to say she ran a game. I felt like she had a lot of skills. You remember when it first started? When it first started, she had JJ, she had Billy, she had people that was not going to put her up regardless of whatever happened. And then that's when she backstabbed Billy. But then by the time she had Drew, she had Caleb. Like some people was just not going to put her up. So I felt at the beginning she kind of had an advantage anyway, more than other people.
And I mean, Nick, what you're saying is tea. Like, I was talking in the Livingston Viewers Lounge last night, and Kevin was talking in there about how Megan's the most obvious win ever.
And it's like, is she though?
I mean,
then,
from a viewer's perspective, probably.
What pisses me off is, like, from a viewer's perspective, we're a bitter jury, but it's like anybody who plays the game to where they're insulting people the entire time and running their mouth about things they shouldn't be running their mouth about, knowing there's a jury. Like, the thing is, I hate the term bitter jury unless, like, you're doing it out of spite. Like, I'm not like, if Megan's in the final, it's not that I'm not voting for her out of spite. I'm not voting for her because she had a shit social game. I'm not voting for her because she didn't take into consideration that there's a jury that has to vote for her to win. Like, it's not a competition game. You don't compete to win. Like, there is a jury, people you voted out, that get to that are voting for somebody to win. And she never took that into consideration. She never said, maybe I should take a step back and stop acting like an entitled brat for a second. And actually,
only there was a The Challenge game taking apps right now.
Huh?
If only there was a The Challenge game taking apps.
True. I mean, like, there isn't the challenge game called Only One Left that I heard was pretty great.
We love plugging your own game.
See Nick W for that. Nick W for that app.
But yeah, like,
Me at the ad made.
I feel like she's basically playing like a female Russell Hantz. Like, that's
I wouldn't even say that. Let me give me a second.
Because, like, she's led 2 people here that she probably thinks she has an easy beat against. She played a shit social game. She did okay, middling at challenges.
I'd say she's playing a Paul game.
Everybody on the
First
way
of all,
out.
I'm just gonna say this: if y'all would have added more motherfucking endurance comps, maybe I would have won more and got the bitch out. Because she definitely wasn't running me. Y'all want to keep doing puzzles and shit, knowing I'm not smart.
I think she definitely is playing a Paul game.
I mean, Paul is basically Big Brother Russell Hantz anyway.
But, like, worse? Question mark.
More or less.
I don't see how. I guess I can see how somebody can say that she played a good game, but I don't. Like, I really don't.
I don't think she ran a game. I feel like any time she would have just been up, to be honest.
I mean, I don't think her I don't think her objective gameplay was terrible. It's just she has no concept of jury management.
Sure. Which is like she's literally playing literally playing Paul's game. But it'd be like if Paul and somebody else who was actually playing the game got final 2. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Also, I'm literally Jessica. I told y'all bitches she was like this.
Okay, so is that everything for you guys?
I don't fucking know.
Okay, so before you end the call, Nick, my one thing that I told them last night, I will say it again. When you cast your vote for the person that you want to represent the season of 1984. It is your guys' season. Think about that voting. I think that is all we have.
I
Finale.
can't vote for myself, hon.
Same. We can't vote for ourselves.
Okay, of the final 3,
Get that laugh.
person who you want to represent this season.
I mean,
So the finale
literally everyone on this jury would have been better.
Huh?
This final 3 would be really cute.
Literally anyone on this jury would have been better.
So the finale will be starting in an hour. So
At this point, I would have voted for HLC.
there you go. Nick, you can end the recording.
Can I?